Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. It's here, guys. The end is finally here. From James K. Filan, breaking news. Judge Torres has issued her ruling on the SEC's motion for remedies. This is what we have been waiting for now for, about a year since we did get that final verdict when XRP was declared not a security by the SEC back in July of 2023. So here is the order, and I know many participants in the XRP community have given their take on it, including some XRP lawyers in the space. I'm going to go over this today. Is it good? Are we in the clear? Obviously, XRP has been proving to be bullish, guys, over the last 24 hours. I happened to look at the price just last night. I hadn't been on Twitter for a while, and obviously, I knew something was up when we had gone from 50 cents in the morning. I was talking about XRP getting back up above this trend line. I remember that specifically. And then all of a sudden, we're sitting above 60 cents. Right now, as of the time of this recording, XRP is trading in and around 61.5 cents. So this all has to do with the XRP Ripple case. As we look at the rest of the market, you guys can see the market is still fairly depressed. Sentiment is still in neutral territory. You can see here market cap is still only at about $2.02 trillion. So we haven't really seen that much difference in the last 24 hours. 24-hour volume, that's even down a little bit by 4% roughly. Bitcoin dominance is slowly creeping up, 56.2%. And in the last 24 hours, it looks as though now we're seeing a bit of a Bitcoin revival, albeit not by much. Bitcoin is up to $57,300 per coin, so that is up by about 0.08% in the last 24 hours. We've got Ethereum, that is down 2.2%. Solana is up almost a percentage point. BNB coin almost down a percentage point. But take a look at XRP, guys, within the last 24 hours, almost up 20%, 19.55% in the last 24 hours alone. So obviously we can attribute this to the lawsuit verdict. A bit of a FOMO pump. Korea is also seeing the FOMO pump. Korea's Upbit is seeing almost the most volume in the world right now. Take a look at this. The volume on the XRP chart on the Korean exchange Upbit. You can see XRP to the Korean won. That is up significantly, volume up significantly, the most in the world. Koreans obviously love trading XRP. You can see over here from Sentiment, XRP's market cap has skyrocketed, growth by 23% in the past 24 hours. Wallets holding between 1 million and 10 million coins on the XRP ledger now hold an all-time high of 7.06 billion coins, guys, worth roughly $4.42 billion. So that is about 7% of the total supply of XRP. And the project's social media discussions are at the highest levels since January. So this is all to be expected, considering we finally did get this verdict. The verdict that everybody has been waiting for, of course. XRP social dominance is at its highest here, level since January 30th. And account holders, okay, these are not small account holders. 1 million to 10 million XRP wallets have accumulated more than 666.4 million more coins in August, and that is a 10.4% increase. So guys, we're seeing the numbers really kind of exploding here. Also, when we take a look at XRP compared to Bitcoin, this one courtesy of Kaleo here. And there's your squeeze, he says. The XRP SEC case is over, and XRP is finally officially declared not a security. Take a look at that. That's the XRP to BTC chart, and you guys can see it has now gone up past this trend line here. If I bring that up, let's bring up XRP to BTC, and I've denoted these zones, these supply zones, with a yellow box here. We've been looking at this for several months now. Compare that to 2020 and 2021, pretty much 2021, the beginning of 2021 throughout. Up until March, April, we did finally see that XRP price really start to skyrocket out of there. And this was the zone in question back then. XRP finding support, bouncing out of that. Considering we have that indicator, I did mark that same zone on this chart back several months ago, before this had even happened, before XRP had even dipped down into this zone. And now look at where we are at. So XRP compared to BTC dominance, you guys can see yesterday we really did fly. But now, guys, Bitcoin is taking a bit of that dominance back. Let's take a look at Bitcoin for a second. Despite XRP's amazing performance yesterday, it looks as though Bitcoin is now rebounding too. So Bitcoin is trading in and around $57,300 per coin. And that is the daily chart. On the hourly, you guys can see Bitcoin has, in fact, started to move up significantly, finding support in those levels there. I do not think it might have to do with the XRP lawsuit. Maybe, the sentiment positive because now we have more clarity in the United States. And a final judgment. This coming from Stuart Alderati. The court rejects the SEC's suggestion that Ripple acted recklessly, and she reminds the SEC that this case did not involve any allegations of fraud or intentional wrongdoing, and no one suffered any financial harm. She rejects the SEC's absurd demands for $2 billion in fines and penalties. We respect the $125 million fine the court has imposed for certain historic sales to sophisticated third parties. That was the final verdict, $125 million for any kind of wrongdoing that they had been accused of in the early days. Chris Larsen also coming out saying the SEC's unhinged campaign against us is finally over. Let's all hope this ends the administration's war on crypto. I couldn't agree more. Even Hodor came out congratulating Chris Larsen. Congratulations to Chris Larsen. Their prosecution must have aged you 20 years. Have a great night. That was from yesterday. XRP Crypto Wolf coming out saying, the XRP lawsuit took so many years that it feels surreal to be finally over. Congratulations, Mr. Larsen, says Bank XRP. Congratulations, Chris, says Rose here. Johnny Crypto here saying, hope isn't a strategy. Better pray we get a new administration if you want the war on crypto to end. So that is another factor in this. Of course, we're going to need forward-thinking politicians at the helm if we want cryptocurrency to really thrive in the U.S. Brad Garlinghouse saying, the SEC asked for $2 billion and the court reduced their demand by about 94%, recognizing that they had overplayed their hand. We respect the court's decision and have clarity to continue growing our company. This is a victory for Ripple, the industry, and the rule of law. The SEC's headwinds against the whole of the XRP community are gone. So guys, what is this going to mean for the XRP price? Well, if we go back to the chart and if we look at XRP price here on the hourly, at least as of now it has not even been 24 hours, so I really don't know how this is going to play out, but so far it's looking like that ascending bullish pennant pattern. That is a good indicator that we are going to continue to move to the upside. Even as of now, XRP price has gone up about half a cent since I just reported on it several minutes ago. So it is still climbing to the upside. We're still seeing an XRP price move in a positive direction. I guess the question could now become, will XRP get back up to the levels of other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum? How much we've seen that go up since June 2022? Let's just take a look real quickly here. Because when we look at the other cryptos in the space, some of the major ones, they have already performed quite well. And Ethereum, as of now, I guess we did recently see that dump. That is already up 179% roughly, even after that dump. When we look at coins like Solana, another big performer since June of 2022. Let's go back here. June 2022, we are up, currently we are up about 500% on Solana. In the hundreds at least, okay? In the hundreds at least. So when we look at XRP now, from June 2022, of course, this is the beginning of this trend line here. We are only up about 116%. So if we were to go up 200, 300% in the coming days, in the coming weeks, hopefully, okay, I'm not holding my breath, but that would bring us somewhere in and around the former highs that we saw back in 2021. And to me, that would make sense. I mean, now we're getting very, very close to the 2.618. Of course, now getting up above these levels here. The next one would be the 0.382, which would get us to about 93 cents. The 0.5 would get us to about $1.13. And then the 0.618 would get us to $1.32. So I guess, slowly but surely, of course, if we just zoom in here and we take a look at what happened during the verdict last summer when the judge did declare XRP not a security, it did take a few days of this FOMO to kind of wear off. So, I mean, we could still see that where XRP is just kind of FOMOing right now. And we do see a bit of a retracement, although I don't see why, considering now we do have the official clarity. So wanted to thank Kaleo here. I wanted to thank Santiment, of course, Chad Steingraber, James K. Filan, Stuart Alderati, Chris Larsen, Brad Garlinghouse, and everybody who has been commenting. Wrath of Kahneman also commenting. The conclusion, guys, Ripple will pay $125 million. This includes injunctive relief, prohibiting Ripple from violating Section 5 and from conducting an unregistered offering of institutional sales of XRP again. We should remember that, okay? The SEC's motion for remedies and the entry of final judgment is granted in part and denied in part. So it isn't a 100% win. The court shall enter a final judgment enjoining Ripple from further violations of the securities laws and imposing a civil penalty of about $125 million. The clerk of court is directed to terminate the motions at ECF and then gives the numbers there. So ordered. Annalisa Torres has signed off on that. So that is the official final verdict. The Bearable Bull also commenting the SEC case is finally over, but let me make something absolutely clear. The punishment was not $125 million in penalties. The punishment was the 4 years of legal battles, limited XRP adoption, exchanges delisting XRP, psychological warfare, and exclusion from bull run participation. It was never about Ripple doing anything illegal. It was always corruption on the government side and attempting to slow down Ripple. Now XRP is free. Let XRP breathe. So this is what gets me scratching my head a little bit. Now that we have the clarity, I mean, this is a very, very healthy pump. 10% in the last day, or 20% in the last 24 hours, roughly. That's a very healthy pump. Now that we have that full clarity, could we in fact see XRP continue to rise, continue to rally? Remember, guys, this one-day pump when XRP went from 47 cents all the way to 94.5 cents, almost 95 cents, that happened in 1 day. This pump is looking less volatile, but the good news, it's looking more sustained. The on-chain analytics also depict the same. So now that we can let XRP breathe, maybe something more positive when it comes to price appreciation is in the cards. If you think Ripple cannot sell XRP in a securities transaction, you are being misformed. So I think we got to take a look at the whole thing here. We got to really kind of assess this for what it is. Matt Rosenden posted this. Ripple can sell to institutions as long as they claim a federal securities exemption. So that is the caveat there. Such sales are exempt from SEC registration provisions. Jimmy Valley commenting on that 100%. That is correct. Jesse Hines also saying they can also sell to non-accredited investors. The Prosperity Fund also commenting they could have made those exemptions years ago, but they didn't, either because they can't get it or having it labeled a security hurts their business. That's true too. You can have a security transaction where the underlying asset is not a security. In Ripple's case, XRP institutional sales are considered an investment contract when sold below market price. So some other things to be paying attention to there. The lawyers have also commented on the XRP lawsuit like Bill Morgan. Finally, it is over and the SAC obtains a fine of $125 million. Ripple wins the disgorgement argument, but there is no joy for it in relation to ODL sales, and the permanent injunction was granted. I warned about the risk to ODL sales for the last 4 years. So what does that mean really? Crypto Arsenal saying, is this not joy for ODL sales, or am I reading this wrong? So you will need to consider part 1 of the injunction, which ODL sales in the USA will risk breaching. So in the United States, there is still that risk. However, Jimbo is contradicting that. Quite the opposite. There is no specific bar on ODL sales. Bill Morgan saying the judge found ODL sales to be securities. They are enjoined by the injunction, at least in the US, or to US companies. Let's go to the XRP's #1 favorite lawyer, Jeremy Hogan. Jeremy gives his 2 cents, maybe giving us a little bit more detail here. I see lots of questions regarding the injunction and what that means for ODL sales. I don't see it changing the status quo at all for the following reasons. So here's his evaluation of what the judge has now confirmed. As Ripple has stated, the majority of its XRP and ODL sales are outside U.S. jurisdiction and not subject to the ruling. So those have and can continue. So it's basically business as usual for those ODL sales outside of the United States. Ripple can sell XRP to institutions as long as it sells it under an exemption to registration. There are like 5 major exemptions, and it's much easier to fit into an exemption when selling TP a business. I can think of 2 viable options off the top of my head. Number 3, he says the judge didn't give the SEC the ODL language it wanted, and therefore if the SEC feels Ripple has violated the order, it would have to move for contempt and present evidence of the violation. This would allow Ripple to then raise the argument that there can be no expectation of profits when the XRP is only held for a second, which is a winning argument to me. Number 4, he says Ripple's legal team has had the summary judgment ruling for over a year now and can guarantee that they have changed how they sell XRP in order to comply. Whether they got too close to the line, as the judge says, would be something we'll only know if there is a contempt hearing. There might be a couple of other things I'm forgetting, but I have a nasty fever right now, and that's all I can think of. Well, Jeremy, I hope you feel better soon. Summary, though, I think Ripple will be able to use its ODL product. It will just have to be careful how it does it. but it's been that way since July of last year. Guys, this is likely why we have seen Ripple kind of go full force ahead with the stablecoin. So I don't know how this is going to work. Basically, everything has been concluded. The ODL sales in the United States, that is still the status quo, the same as it has been for the last year about. Mickey D here saying, another question, Jeremy, the SEC has 60 days to appeal by Sunday, October the 6th, which knowing them, they will. What are they likely to appeal against? And do they stand much of a chance getting something from appealing? Could it go to the Second Circuit? And Jeremy Hogan responding here, they have the right to appeal. And if they do, the focus will be on programmatic sales for sure. But he's not giving us the likelihood of if that will happen or not. So guys, what are the chances? Bill Morgan here agreeing with Jeremy Hogan. He summed it up very well. Having to fit ODL sales into an exemption or register sales are limitations on a possibility of very cheap global second long ODL transactions when the sales by their nature are not securities. The vision was for the instant transfer of value at virtually no cost, as the internet allows the instant transfer of information. Why does a national regulator need to interfere with what the technology makes possible for the whole world? I gotta say, he's not wrong. Why are they interfering with, this technology? We obviously know this isn't about making money. Holding the XRP in this case is to provide liquidity for these transactions. The Black Swan Capitalist also commenting on this, giving us a broad picture here. The end of the Ripple lawsuit and the regulatory clarity of XRP bring me relief. However, with the legal battle concluded, several issues still demand immediate attention. First, the SEC lacked the legal authority to pursue Ripple from the start, as there was no legal precedent for their actions. The SEC's handling of the Ripple lawsuit revealed a clear conflict of interest, especially comparing to the treatment of other digital assets. So he goes on to talk about Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana. It is evident to anyone who can interpret the law and think critically that the SEC's approach to digital assets has been consistently inconsistent. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and many other technologies including Tether, which still face a lot of regulatory uncertainty and still haven't been addressed, have been treated more leniently than Ripple and the digital asset XRP. This could raise serious concerns about the SEC's true motives and conflicts of interest, given its relationship with entities involved in these digital assets, including FTX's Sam Bankman-Fried, who laundered retail investors' money. There's also the unlawful impact it had on retail investors. Of course, we're not going to forget that, right? XRP not being able to breach all-time high in 2021. And that, guys, that was significant for XRP holders. Accountability is necessary for the role in stifling innovation, stealing investors' funds, creating confusion, and breaking the law. Here are some of those key figures involved in this massive scandal. He calls out Elizabeth Warren, Maxine Waters, Gary Gensler, of course, and their involvement in all these collapses like Terra Luna, Celsius, Gemini, and FTX that we saw back in 2022. And then, of course, there's the ongoing investigation into ETHgate. Ripple needs to sue the SEC so an investigation can be conducted to publicly expose the regulatory overreach, misconduct, and criminal behavior, and hold these criminals accountable. Well, I have a feeling Ripple is probably not going to do that. I think they're going to take their win and walk away. Realistically, though, guys, there is still a 60-day clock as per Sherry here. The 60-day clock has officially begun for either or both parties to appeal. Somewhere I read that Ripple is likely, I think it was actually from, was it Brad Garlinghouse? I think it was one of them, Brad Garlinghouse or Chris Larson did say that we're going to not appeal this. We're totally happy with the SEC's decision here. We're going to take this as a win. So even though Sherry has said here that the 60-day clock has officially begun for both parties, I think really what we're doing here now is we're waiting for the SEC. The first thing we should be looking at is a press release from the SEC. If the SEC is planning to appeal, then it is unlikely there will be one. So will we see an SEC press release? Now this is the big question. Cooler here saying, do you expect any bold business-wise news from Ripple and related companies, or only clarity about appeal will allow those steps? Sherry saying, what I've been seeing in Ripple actively taking steps towards the selling of XRP legally, I don't quite understand if they financially benefit from the AMM, nor do I understand this talk about the foundation dissolving. The creation of the RLUSD is of interesting timing. I have a feeling that the RLUSD, because we have the clear regulations across the United States with regards to stablecoins, or at least they're working on those ones first. That is the reason why they created the RLUSD. And, also it's probably a two-prong effect. Banks, regulatory institutions, regulated financial institutions, all those guys, they understand the concept of a fiat-denominated coin. They can kind of wrap their head around, okay, this fiat is worth this, that fiat is worth that, and the relation between those two fiat currencies. So even though it is redundant, and even though years ago Brad Garlinghouse said, you know, having a stable coin like a JPM coin pegged to the US dollar is kind of redundant. Well, now, guys, that's kind of what we have. The RLUSD, Tether, USDC, they're all basically redundant in the grand scheme of things because XRP doesn't need the stablecoin, or rather, the world doesn't need a stablecoin for XRP to function efficiently. So, anyway, this is where we're at right now. Of course, we should also take a look at what Ripple is saying. Now, David Schwartz is being extremely cautious during these next 60 days. This one coming from XRP Crypto Wolf here. How come you haven't said anything about the XRP case finally ending? David Schwartz did comment. He says, there's a lot of things I want to say on most things, and I would just say them. But during the next 60 days, both sides have some important decisions to make, and I'd hate for something I tweeted to affect that. In the back of my brain, some parts of me is thinking that they could be deciding whether to appeal right now. XRP Crypto Wolf responding, wouldn't that prove that the Harris administration isn't pro-crypto if they allowed Gensler to appeal? Actions speak louder than words. So, on the surface here, we've got David Schwartz still being cautiously optimistic. I don't think Ripple is going to appeal. If anybody appeals, it will be the SEC. Of course, it would prove, though, that he's got a great point. It would prove that the Democrats, that they're basically lying through their teeth, saying that they are pro-crypto. I'm going to keep an eye on these sustained gains. Hopefully, guys, we continue to see XRP move to the upside, considering price has been stifled during the beginning of the bull run. Remember, guys, the 0.236 is that first hurdle. We have already seen it breach back in March, also back in November of 2023, but I foresee an XRP certainly being able now confidently to get up over $1 within the next few months, especially once we finally see that next Bitcoin pump to the upside. That's just my opinion, and for more information on what I'm trading, the $15,000 plus portfolio, my other altcoins, and all my thoughts regarding this bull run, you can find me over there at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. Again, just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.